What's up, Mervyn Boone?
How you doing, Keith? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here, man. I appreciate you taking some time with us. I want to talk about really what our business is. You know, there's a lot of different perceptions of our business, but I look at our business as we're prospectors and marketers. I picture like we're prospecting, right? Like back in the day, the prospectors, when you think of prospectors, what they were doing, those are people that were heading west, right? They were searching for gold, right? And there's prospects out there. And I look at our business as we're prospectors in our business, right? We've got to constantly be marketing who we are and what we do. And I think one of the coolest things about Primerica is when people look at us, they go, they make that face first. They always go, is this one of those things where I have to recruit someone? I go, no, you don't have to recruit anybody. You could do it all yourself, right?
Exactly.
See, what happens is the reason we recruit people is because we should have more places to go than we have time to.
Correct.
So any business that has success and more business they can handle has to recruit people. Think about it, right? If you own a gas station and you have lines for an hour trying to get in your gas station, you need to open up more gas stations or open up more pumps. If you own a supermarket and there's lines trying to pay at the cashier or the checkout counter, you need to open up more registers, right?
Right.
So we got to figure out how to put more hours in our day, and how we do that is through prospecting. So what are some of the things that you do to prospect for new associates?
One of the things we do is we tap into our natural hot and warm market, you know, because people always meet people every day. As we meet new people, right, they meet new people. So we follow up with our clients, we follow up with people that we know, right, and we talk to them about, hey, we're expanding, we're looking to open up a new location, right? We're in charge of that. So that's what things that we utilize in regards to like prospecting.
You know what I found through that, right? So we got three really areas. We got a hot market, which are people that know us, we know them. Then there's a warm market where people, hey, Mervyn, right? Yeah, I know Mervyn, or I haven't seen him, right? So you recognize my face, I recognize your face, you maybe know my first name, or I know your first name. So it's a warmer market, but not a hot market, right? Maybe I don't have you in my cell phone. Maybe we haven't done anything socially in the last 6 months or a year, right?
Right.
And then there's a cold market. You don't know me, I don't know you, right? But every single one of those people, we don't know who's got what inside. We don't know who's looking for bigger and better. We don't know who's not totally satisfied with where they're at, who's frustrated with where they're at, sick and tired of being sick and tired, right? So what we've got to do is we've got to introduce everybody to Primerica. See, I'm not even interested if worried about whether you're interested in working with me. I just want to tell you who we are and what we do, because you might not be interested now, but you might be interested in 6 months or a year or in the future, right? So the hot market, right, we're going to use the credibility to get down. People that are in the warm market, right? What are some of the things that you do to prospect in a warm market?
Prospecting in a warm market, we invite people down to the office, right, so they could see who we are, what we do, right, okay, and see what we have going on.
To the business briefings or the opportunities, or you invite them down for interviews?
A combination of both, depending on their schedule, or if they're in the qualified market, if they're married, if they have children, we'll sit down with them in their home, and, you know, we're just going to present.
Okay, so is every appointment then a prospecting, recruiting appointment?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay, because let me tell you what happens early on for most of us, at least me. I had people I was trying to recruit, and then I had people I tried to do business with. And I always have people say to me when they're new, well, Keith, do I focus on selling or do I focus on recruiting? Should I try to sell that person or recruit that person?
Both.
I go, yes. No, do I focus on recruiting or selling? Absolutely.
Right.
So how do we go from the transition of putting our recruiting hat on to all of a sudden now putting our financial hat on, right?
Right.
So I think if we always lead or kind of aim with a recruit and a prospect and we kind of miss with an F&A, does that make sense?
Right.
All right, so you're going to talk to people about, I want to show you who we are and what we do. So if they're 1 to 3 point markets, you're going to invite them down to an opportunity meeting.
Correct, or a one-on-one interview.
Or a one-on-one interview. So you could kind of tell the Primerica story, try to create some interest. We talk about creating interest, overcome objections, and closing. So our goal in the one-on-one is really just to create interest, right? Okay. So if you do that with me and I'm a 1 to 3 point market, then you're going to invite me to a business briefing.
Yeah, because I want to condense time frames, right? Because if I sit down with somebody, Meaning that, if I sit down with someone in the 4 or 5 point market, we always taught aim at a recruit, miss with a sale, right? And because what we do is so great for people, if I'm sitting down with somebody in a qualified market, even though if I might not recruit you, I'm definitely going to do business with you. But if someone's in the 1 to 3 point market, they're not married, they don't have children, right? Okay, they don't own a home. It's a hit or miss. So I can condense time frames by putting 5, 10 people in a business briefing, seeing the same presentation, and it kind of like weeds out who's interested and who's not.
Right. You know what? When I started, I was 22. So most of the people I knew, the kids I knew were 20, 21, 22, 23. Yeah. Most of them, none of them are married, have kids, own a home. They're all still living at home, right?
Exactly.
So what I realized was sometimes young kids have young parents that are in our market.
Yep.
Sometimes people go, that person's older, they're not really in our market. They're in their 60s and 70s. Yeah, but they got kids that are in our market. Right. So it's prospecting through other people, telling that story through other people, right? So in a warm market, we're going to sit across that kitchen table. And when I talk about referrals or prospecting, who do you know, right? I always found this. If I was going to prospect you and you're a warm market, I wouldn't come out and say to you, hey, Mervyn, are you interested in making extra income? Because when someone says that, they're why
get
do
defensive.
I look like I need extra income?
Right.
Hey, would you be interested in a career change?
Right.
Because everybody, if you ask them, hey, how's your job? Oh, I love my job. How's it going to work? Oh, doing good. But you have a couple beers or you have a cup of coffee with somebody, they'll say,
you build a relationship.
Exactly.
Right.
So what happens is when you start realizing, I loved my job when I first started, until I realized it was an alternative. I used to tell people I work with my hands. I'm in construction. I work outside. Bears work with their hands. I don't want to work outside. It's with the elements. But what happens is the longer I was here and the more I saw an opportunity, the more interested I got, the more I hated what I was doing. So sometimes I think we could challenge people. So I always found we prospect through people. Hey, who do you know? Do you know anybody who's interested? So what are some of the things in a warmer market you say to people?
Well, I look for that commonality. Like
Awesome.
I love sports. So if we have that commonality, we'll talk about sports, and then I'll just wait for that time because everybody will tell you, what is it that you do, right? And they tell you what you do. They tell you what's going on in their life by asking a few questions, and then you drop the line on or you prospect with the opportunity.
Right, and it's the same thing. So we got hot market, you got warm market, and then the colder market, right? Because the fact of the matter is, right, if the average 30-year-old person knows 1,000+ people, well, there's billions of people on this planet, right? So you're going to have more people in a colder market. So I think what happens is the colder market, you're not going to have the same credibility.
Correct.
You're not going to have the same rapport or rapport, right? With people, right? So what happens is, we've got a friendship farm, so to speak. We've got to create commonality, or we got to recruit and prospect through somebody, right? So I look at that right now as those we're going to work larger numbers. I use the example in basketball, right? If I shoot layups, I'm going to have a higher percentage than if I shoot free throws. If I shoot free throws, I'm going to have a higher percentage if I shoot 3-pointers, right? The closer you get to the net, the higher your percentages are, right? So it's kind of the same in recruiting and prospecting. The closer I stay in a warmer market with credibility, the higher the results. But how many times you see people in this business successful that were cold called or maybe prospected at a supermarket or a gas station, or they were maybe a taxi driver or something? So what are some of the things that you do when you're prospecting in a cooler market?
Like the same thing you mentioned. We don't talk to them directly. We'll ask them, hey, do you live or work in the area? And, say, why do you ask? Office is expanding. We're looking for a few key people to work with us. Hey, by the way, I'm Mervyn. Right. Okay. And then they'll say who they are. We'll exchange name and numbers. Okay. And then we'll definitely give them a call.
You mentioned exchange name and numbers. And one of the things I always found when I was never a big colder prospector, most of the recruiting I did was over the kitchen table, and most of the recruiting and the prospecting I did was referrals through someone else's warm market. But I still prospected and recruited people I didn't know. And one of the things that I always found is we've got to get people to feel comfortable, right? They have to think that you're talking to them and you're offering them an opportunity, right? So one of the things I always found, especially if you're prospecting someone of opposite sex, right? If I ask for a girl, hey, how can I get your number, right? Right. But if I say, hey, here's my number, what's the best way to contact you, right? Just like I hear all the time, if people don't want a taxi. They just want to be able to get to the next location. People don't want to go to medical school, but they want to become doctors, right? So sometimes we have to ask people what their next step is, but we've got to do it a little bit differently. So one of the things I always found is if I want to get your number, Mervyn, right, or I want to get your contact number, I would say, hey, let me give you my phone number. What's the best way to contact you, right? You just said, hey, my name's Mervyn. If I just said, hey, my name's Keith, what's your name? Mervyn. Boom. You're going to tell me your name, but if I just say, hey, what's your name, it's a little bit threatening. But if I give you my name first, as simple or as basic as that sounds, it makes people feel comfortable, right? So, and if I just say to you, hey man, I'm expanding my business right now, I'm so busy, I'm dizzy, or I'm on a tremendous expansion phase, maybe you could do me a favor. Do you know anybody who's looking to make a strong part-time income or a possible career change and the money was right? If I do that through somebody, a lot of times they'll say me. Yeah, I'm right. Exactly. Or if I said, yeah, I'm excited, man. I just opened up a new office. Well, I just opened I was in Englewood Cliffs, New Jersey. I was in that office for 28 years. And for 28 years, I told people, hey, I just opened up a new office. Because when you go to Europe or some of these buildings in New York are over 100 years old, that's been around for a while. So 28 years is kind of like that, right? So I just opened up a new office. Maybe you can help me. Do you know anybody right now who's looking to make a strong part-time income? And so anytime I meet somebody, if I just tell them I just opened up a new office, they'll say, hey, what do you do for a living? I get people to ask me questions, right? By creating interest. What are some of the things you do to create some interest with people?
You know, we try to find out, you know, their background, find that commonality, right? We got to put people in a position that they feel comfortable with us, right? Because there's no relationship, there's no credibility, so we try to do that as much as possible. But when we get a cold prospect, we want to turn that into a warm market as soon as possible.
Right. So a cold market is a cooler market until you build rapport and you create them into a warm market, and then they'll lead you to a hot market. You with me?
Correct.
Awesome, brother. So the bottom line is we could have unlimited referrals, because what we do is so awesome for people.
100%.
Thanks for your time, brother. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.